Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here with us this afternoon. No, medyo bibo na ta, daghan na ta. We are about or around 112 already. So we are excited no, what we have in store for you. But before we begin, please do not forget to register through the registration link that you see here on the screen. I've actually also sent it in the chat box, and you can also scan it if you're using a if you have a cell phone with you, you can also register through your phone's camera. So you can just scan the QR code for the registration. Good afternoon once again. And we welcome all those who just came in. So for those who just came in, please do not forget to register to our through our registration link that is provided in the chat box. Okay, so welcome sa tanan. No, nga naa dinhi. This is sharing the flexible learning teaching experience, and just like the first one that we had last year, I believe that this is a very exciting session where everybody gets to share or few of the selected speakers are going to share their experiences about these topics that you can see on the screen, and maybe soon no basin kamo na po dayon ang mag-share pohon. Okay, so what we are hoping for this is that we will have this collegial sharing, and we are able to pick some important and maybe something that you can find very useful for your situation, for your context, as to how we are going through our flexible learning or distance learning that we have right now. So now that we are all set, let me begin first with um, just a very brief overview of what is sharing the flexible learning teaching experience all about. So sharing the flexible learning teaching experience is all about collegial sharing. So we highlight the best practices from our instructors, which we found innovative, and some of them may be unforgettable and interesting, for our students. And this is the reason why we're here, because we are going to have these sets of teachers or instructors and get something from them. And we are, of course, in still in constant search for these instructors who have very good practices, and who knows, by the next time, no, kamo na po ang amo ang ma-select, and you will be given the opportunity to also share your best practices. And I'm pretty sure, even though no, sometimes we may think simple raman kani akong gibuhat, no, nag-ingon ani raman ko sa akong estudyante, pero na maka-create na day siya dako kayo nga impact no sa atong mga estudyante. And these could be practices that not everybody is practicing, and they may find it interesting and also very useful, as I've mentioned, no, very useful for their situation or for their context. Okay, so let me introduce to you our first speaker. She will be talking to us about how it is to forge teacher-student connections amidst distance. It's very important that beyond the screen, no, that we have, we are able to create or establish connection to our students. So without further ado, here is Miss Prosibeth Bacarisas from CSTE.
So good afternoon, everyone. Am I here po, Sir Arvin?
Yes, ma'am, you can be heard po.
Okay. I would like you to operate the PowerPoint for me, if that's okay. All right. So thank you, Sir Arvin, for that introduction. So, una sa tanan, I would like to greet everyone a pleasant afternoon. So, to all participants, please accept my warm greetings coming from the College of Science and Technology Education. Now, I'll be starting my talk with this report. No? So, as we face this new normal, we encounter overwhelming challenges that may drain our energy. Okay, so next slide, please, Sir Arvin. So the pandemic um, is actually testing the relationship between teachers and students, and managing these connection in person to online proves challenging as well. So we are really facing overwhelming challenges that sometimes it may drain our energy. So the COVID-19 pandemic has raised significant and enormous challenges for us all. So, including the higher education community, and not just here in the Philippines, but worldwide. No? So, next slide po, Sir Arvin. So, nurturing teacher and student relationship indeed is a great challenge. But according to an educational psychologist, we have Dr. Coley, nurturing teacher and student relationship really requires challenge, but the shared sense that we go through this together may help forge stronger connection. No? So according to Dr. Coley, it is hard for us to have time for one-on-one conversations with the student, but because of this shared sense, no, this will surely help us build the bond and establish the connection. So this would require us to look for better ways of how to do things, right? Okay. Now, the crisis really will help us come together. That's across boundaries. So many things have changed. If we may recall, the way we shop no changed. So same as the way we teach, it's also changed. Even the way children play, it also changed. No, so it changed everything. I have this little girl who just turned 7, and then she has this online class, and while waiting for their teacher, they play hide and seek. No, mind you, no, they're in front of the computer screen and they are playing hide and seek, and they are really enjoying. No, you can hear their giggles, their laughs, and then they are hiding under the table, under the chair, and then their classmates would just simply guess where they are hiding, and they are enjoying these things. So just like us, no teachers, even if it's difficult, I know that because we are resilient, we tend to cope up with this. No, so that's a good point there. No, so the crisis really brings us close together. Next slide, please. Okay, so let me start with asking the question, no? What is teacher-student relationship and why is it important? No, so that's the what and the why. In educational term, this teacher and student relationship is what we call as rapport. No, so I think for educators, you know already what's the meaning of this. Okay, next slide, please, Sir Arvin. So when we talk about rapport, this is about taking time to interact with our students, no? Express interest in them, no? Get to know them. What are their hobbies? What are their likes and dislikes? But this poses a great challenge because we don't have a personal contact with them, no? So we do online connections. Okay, so applying these practices in an online setting would really require some sympathy. Indirect relationships, therefore, increases human connection. So, which is very essential for motivating students on how they will stay engaged in school despite of the pandemic. Okay. So next slide, please. So what does research say about teacher and student relationship? Um, I have here two studies. No, and then it says that the more positive relationship between the teacher and the students, the better is their engagement. That's according to Dr. Coley again. Now, what do you mean by engagement? When we say engagement in educational term, this refers to the enjoyment, no, that students feel during the activities, how they are into it, and what are their future aspirations. No? Okay, now what about their outcome or the performance of students? What's the effect between this strong teacher and student relationship? Okay, so another study would suggest that when there is this strong teacher student rapport, this will increase academic performance or academic outcome. In what way? No, by boosting their self efficacy. Now, what is self-efficacy? So that's an educational term that was introduced to us by, I think, Albert Bandura, right? No? So when we say self-efficacy, this is actually defined as the way people believe that they can do things. No? They exercise control over their own functioning and over events that would affect their lives. Now, one's self of self-efficacy would provide no, a good foundation for motivation, no, well-being, as well as accomplishment. Okay, next slide, please. So, how to forge connection no, in this different setting, no, in this online setting? This really requires personal touch. So I know teachers really have their personal touch when it comes to teaching. I didn't use any other means aside from the usual things that we do when we communicate with students. First and foremost, I use the USTP Learning Portal, which is actually good, and I'm still learning on how to use it. Second, I also use Google Classroom, wherein I require my students to submit their outputs. The third one is I use Facebook. We created a Facebook group wherein students can where we can actually make contact with the students, and that's daily. I do it daily. And then I also use Gmail for corresponding with my students. If ever they cannot attach their files in the Google Classroom, so they can send it through emails. I also use private messages in Messenger. Now, I find it useful in communicating with students, especially if their problem has something to do with their kanang individualized ba? No? So personal ng mga issues, personal ng mga problems. So I talk to them through Messenger. Okay? So though really, it's not really an easy task to build relationships with students that we have not met yet. No? I have around 8 sections. No, I have 8 sections, and five of these sections are actually first year. So we really did not meet. No, we really did not meet face to face. We only meet online, but sad to say that not all really can join online classes because of the setup. So not all students can really see me, or they cannot really see me at all. I mean, yeah, vice versa. No, so na mga difficulty, na mga hindrance. So wala gid tay connection when it comes to the usual way of connecting things. But because of this, social media and then the technology that we have, so we can still forge connection. Now, there are actually three main points that I'm going to share to everyone for this afternoon. Um, this is how actually I do it with my class. So there are three main points. Next slide, please. So first is stay connected. Now, so you have to keep your lines open. Okay, using all those means that were mentioned earlier. So I use those different platforms to stay connected with my students. Okay. Next is listen and show compassion. So how do I listen and how is it done? Now, I'll be discussing that a little later. Okay. Now next is the third one is respond. Now, how do I respond to my students? Okay, so let me continue. Next slide, please. So staying connected is by keeping your lines open. So using those things that were mentioned earlier, those are the means of communicating with my students. Group chats, we usually use that. So um, personal messages, if ever, pwede gid ma-call, tawagan, if there is a need. And how do I do it? At first, actually katong survey bitaw nga atong gigamit at the start of the class really helped because the data that we get actually provided me an idea of what kind of students am I going to handle for this year. So I took that list, I get a copy of that, and then of course na naman to yung mga contact details no, na cell phone, na emails. So at the start medyo kapoy gyud no because you will be personally emailing them, contacting them. But eventually na kompleto ra gid ang listahan no. Although dili gid perfect siguro 100%, but we were able to get copies of the students' contact details. And we use these contact details in communicating with them. And if you noticed in the slide, I have there I support groupings. No? So that's actually the meat of my discussion this afternoon. In my class, I created a support group. Medyo psychological kaayo ang term ba? Support grouping. But let me explain what is this. Next slide, please. Okay, in the usual face-to-face class, students really have their own groupings, right? Teachers can observe that. No? So they have their certain group, they sit together, they talk together, they go to cafeteria together, no? So they work together. So they are actually in a small grouping. Now, I make use of that same grouping, kaya lang with a little twist. Okay, so with the list that I have and their contact details, I assign a leader, in each support group. This actually composed of five members rather, in a group. So I created a what is this grouping wherein the students in that group can really help each other. No, they talk if they have problems, if they want emotional support, because there are a lot of students, mind you, no, they are they are really having emotional problems to the point nga muundang na sila, no. But because of the support group that we have, I asked my student nga, oh, try to talk to your friend. Try to talk to your classmate. Kaya murag kaundangon na. Or yun, ana ba? So they get emotional support with each other. No? And good thing that she was able to make it. No? She was able to make it. And then there's also a group wherein naisa ka member nila nga wala na nagpakita for quite some time. Di ay, kay kuan day siya. Positive day siya sa COVID. No? So, but because of the support group, they try to reach her out, they help her, and so they finish together the semester. No? So they use the support group in helping each other. Okay, and the most important thing there is that they were able to develop their collaborative skills. They communicate, they find ways. Ang uban, lisod ka ay ma'am, lisod ka ay contact ni siya, talagsa ra siya mag-online. Okay, so try to agree, kadus agid mo dapat mag-meet para magkasabot yun mo. So ingon anak ng mga communications ba. Okay, so what is shown here on the slide is a sample. I share this to my students, although kinahanglan pa ni siya i-fill out. This is for this semester, no? So this is how I create the the list, no, for the support groupings. Okay, so again, when students have this support group, the members would share certain issues, no? And they also share coping strategies, and that would make them feel more empowered. No? So take note, the support groupings that they have will help them, cope up with the problems that they are facing. Kung maglisod yun, tabangan, and with that, they feel empowered. Okay. So this support group is actually a safe environment for them to get the help that they need. Okay, although naay uban nga grupo nga wal dili gid kaayo maayo ang ilahang kanang rapport, no, sa ilahang within the group. So it turned out na nagtagsa-tagsa sila. So ang uban nabiyaan gyud. But for those who really have a strong support group, I have this one section na solid yung kaayo sila. They help each other out. And together, they were able to finish the entire semester. Murag sila ra nga section nga isa ang P. No? Katong wala gid nagpakita. Okay? All right. Now, so, unsa may effect aning support grouping to my students? I'll be sharing to you some of the slides. I think you are seeing it right now. Let me bring your attention to the pinakaubos nga part. Okay, makita ninyo tingali, di ba? So ako dili kay na ko makita, so ako sang i-zoom. I forgot to bring my glasses. Okay, so let me read the students. No, by the way, if you may ask, I am handling STS subjects, and then these are all is education students, together with the other education course, which is the teaching profession. So I am dealing with pre-service teachers here. So one of the activities that I have in my class is that I ask them, no, one of the term activity is that I ask them to write a brief narrative, no, of their challenges that they faced, how they go through it, and what made them go through it. No, so brief lang a narrative. So few of my students actually shared their ideas about support groups. So let me read this to you. Although dili kay perfect siguro ang grammar, no? So for one of my students, she said that support groups created and initiated by Miss Beth is really helpful, no, and essential for us to help each other by means of cooperating together to finish or answer or complete the task that is meant to be submitted. Okay. The combination of effort and wisdom of the assigned support group actually help her, no, help her. Okay, so um, there will be more sharing that will be student sharing that will be shown. No, so let me continue. Next slide, please. Okay, so um, how do I respond? So that's the question now. There are many ways to do it. No? So I think you can see that on the slide. Okay. Um, So we have there through private messages, chats, Facebook, Gmail, text call. Okay, also creating printable modules, recording videos. No, so magkatawag gid ang akong anak kay ngano. Ignon ako niya nga vlogger na ka mami. Kay ngano, maybe because it's the first time to see her mom talking in front of the camera. And then musulti sa mga butang nga wala niya nabawan. No, so maringon na din siya, are you a vlogger, mommy? Maana na dahil siya. No, so we created videos, and these videos that I have created, I upload them in YouTube. So I created a YouTube channel. No, so lahi na gid karon, di ba? Na instant nga module writer. Ay, una de ay kanang call center agent. Next is we became module writers, okay, and we became vloggers. So, oo, YouTuber pag yun, kaya nag-create na itong mga YouTube channel. So, no, this is how pandemic is actually changing us. Okay? So, basin, pila ka months gikan karon na mga million subscribers na to. Diba? Okay. Pero ang mga videos dahil dili public. So, for my students consumption lang to. Okay? Dili pa gyud siya perfect, inanan pa i-refine. Okay, so let me proceed to the students' observation, no, in my classes. So, as shown here, we have here a sample of my student work. I like this one because despite daw kuno sa mga hindrances, she is so happy that she has this instructor that is understanding and finding ways uh, to reach out for them, and then through giving video lectures, no, and then reliable sites. And for me, upon reading this, medyo nakakatabang puso talaga, no? So what I did, these are just small things, but for the students, it's really, really big, you know. And I'm thankful for that they are trying to appreciate the things that we have done. Okay. All right. So here's another one from my student. Sincerity is also very important. When we reach out for students, we really need to be sincere because students can really feel, you know, they have their feelings, you know? So with this narrative, you know, coming from the student, we could really sense that if teachers really reach out, find ways to connect with them, they really feel important, and then that actually will help them. Okay, and in my case, since we are actually in the education department, we are developing future teachers. So these are the kind of teachers that we want to raise, no, we want to produce in our students. Yung teachers with empathy ba? No, they really feel for others. So if we set ourselves as role models, then in one way or another, no, this can actually be passed on to them. No, so that's actually what I. Okay, I'm down to my last slide. So it is also important that we need to be really hands-on, no? And we need to do it constantly. So naayos sa ka-estudyante nga, siguro nakasense siya nga everyday si ma'am ga-follow up sa Facebook. Kumusta na? How are you? What are you doing? I hope that you are now doing this kind of task. We are now in week 3. We are now in week 7. Maraging ano ba? And I do it every day. So sa una, dili man gyud ka ay ko updated with the Facebook, but with this Facebook group I created with my students, everyday ko na ay mga posts. Sagod-sagod na lang ako mga posts, no? Encouragement, kay ma-feel man ako. Usahay na ay mga pag mag-post ko og task, basin makita na ko na ay nag-teary-eyed nga icon, na ay sad. So I give them encouragement. I know that you're tired. We are also tired, but let us do this together. How may I help you? Is there a way that we can help? Kung na ay problema sa load, pagsulti lang kay basi na aday ko extra mariging una ba, pero dili tanan, no, kay medyo lisod po dito sa amo sa bukid ang load. So ingon ana ba, if the students can really feel that they are kanang taken care of, they really strive to learn. That's actually my ending statement, no. So being hands on and being constant really will help them. Okay, so I hope that with these few minutes, I was able to impart a little, no, of what I did in my class, and I hope that it will be helpful for some, no, for some. Okay, so I think that's all, Sir Arvin. So thank you for your time and good afternoon.
Thank you, Ma'am Beth, for sharing that very essential topic. No, I believe that this is coming from what you have discussed. some of our students are actually just holding on, no, sa ato ang motivation, and some of them may be expressing masin gusto na sila maundang, no, ingon na they already want to give up because they can catch up with the tasks, but with constant motivation and with your guidance and with your with your um, trying to reach out with the students, no, it actually makes a lot or makes a very big difference, no, in the learning environment, especially in distance learning, no. And it is also very important that we get to be sensitive with how our students respond, no, to our tasks, and how are we able to help them. And what I really like about what you shared, po, is the support group where the students can really um, or really have the opportunity to talk to each other, and perhaps not just talk about your class subject matters, but also with their personal siguro nga mga personal siguro nga mga aligot-got nila. So with the kind of testimonies that your students are giving, nakaingon gid mi sana all, no? Sana all na ay Ma'am Beth nga teacher, no? Ingon na, and I'm pretty sure some or a lot of our teachers are also doing that. But of course, for those who are not yet doing that, maybe this is also a great opportunity for you to reconnect with your students and really establish a good relationship with them, and perhaps motivate them, no, to really finish their academic journey with us. So thank you so much, Ma'am Beth, for that very insightful, no, subject matter. And speaking of groups, no, this second speaker that we will be having is going to share about why is it very important that we cultivate collaborative spirit, no, sa ato ang mga estudyante, because distance learning can be very um, isolating, no, in a sense, because our students can't see each other, and they sometimes feel that they are left alone, no. But with a collaborative spirit, you're able to establish a kuano kana bitang ma-feel nila, no, nga naagyapon sila sa classroom even if lagyo sila. Okay? So our second speaker is going to talk about that. Let us welcome Mr. Mac Wilford Paclar.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, madunggan daw ako, mga ma'am and sir.
Yes, we can hear you po.
Okay. So, I'll just share my screen. Okay, so again, good afternoon, everyone. So, greetings from the Digital Transformation Office and the CITC. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss cultivating collaborative spirit in flexible learning. Okay, so most of my experience in teaching, so ako siyang gikuha sa industry. So I've been in the development or software development industry for 8 years na. Then once ni sulod ko USTP, so I applied it in my class. Okay, so inform lang ko daan. So akong contents or akong message karon is medyo technical, but I'll try my best nga tanan ta maka-gets o makasabot sa akong ipang istorya. Okay? So collaborative spirit. So matud pa ni Andrew Carnegie, so teamwork is the ability to work together towards a common vision. Okay? So agree ko sa giingon ni Ma'am Prospect ganina nga when your students are supported, they are empowered. Okay? So atong aim or ang akong aim lang gyud on the previous na nga klase nako is communicate lang gid ko sa akong student. Okay? So naiuban student nga maulaw, so naiuban student nga dili gid sila mo istorya. So how do I kaning giunsa nako pag-approach or giunsa nako pag-apply ang collaboration sa akong klase. Okay? So collaborative spirit or becoming joined with shared purpose. Okay? So for again sa akong giingon before, I've been to software development for 8 years, and akong boss before is actually a educator as well from the Netherlands. At the same time, company owner siya. So tanan ako na learn saya akong gi share po dani sa USTP. Okay? So maximizing collaborative spirit. Okay? So gamay lang ng mga points ang akong ipang share karon, and later on I'll be applying it using with a tool nga akong ginagamit sa akong klase. So uh, uh, I have trained CITC ani. So I know they know this tool already. So para nice po siya. So para magamit po si tanan. So I'll be sharing it with you today. Okay? So maximizing collaborative spirit. Okay? So number one tip is to build a comprehensive and consistent communication process. So I've been in Kuan as well, teaching for 3 years na in my previous company. So akong nabantayan, especially in IT or even ikuan kana mga bagong work lang sa IT nga field, ug tagaan nimo ang student ug taas kay nga information about the task or the project, dili na niya basahon. Okay? So dili na nabasahon ni student kano man tapulan na siya, ma-discourage na siya. Iyang hunahuna na is di na ako na kaya kay taas kayo ang description. Kay feel nila nga kung taas ang description, dako ang requirements sa project nga ilang i-aim or ilang buhaton. Okay? So sa akong ginabuhat is that instead of giving them a 3 pages nga project requirements or project description, so I made it in a list form. So how do I do that? Diyon sana ko na siya pagbuhat. Okay? So asa na ko siya gamit. Okay? So later on, ako ipakita sa inyo og yun sana ko ni pag-apply ang building a comprehensive and consistent communication process. Okay? So connected po ni siya sa atong first speaker ganina. So dapat mag-build kita communication sa atong mga student para dili sila behind or dili sila makaingon nga gibiyaan ako ni ma'am, gibiyaan ako ni sir. Okay? So dapat appeal gid sila dapat sa atong team. Okay? So number 2 is fun collaboration. Okay? So most of us here, so unsay fun collaboration? How do I achieve that? Okay? So sa ato isa sa ato, so laylahi kita og kuan, laylahi tag idea. Okay? So sa ako fun collaboration. So mura siya, I treat my students as my kuan, as my team. For example sa isa ka company. Okay? So dili lang kay nako ipa-feel sila ang na sila sa eskwelahan. So ginapa-feel nako sila nga na sila sa isa ka workplace. Okay? So that is how I do or did in doing or creating fun collaboration. And number 3 is relevant and reward system. Okay? So giving them plus points. So sa atong mga students karon og magata lang kag plus points, murag common na kay sila, normal na kay sila. So feel nila boring naman kay ni kay plus points naman makuha ra man ni nato. Okay? So what I did is that so mangatag kog load. Okay? So unsaon nako karon paghatag og load. Okay? Unsa nga mga certain activities nga dadto ko mohatag og load. Kanang makaingon gid ang estudyante ila. Dato ning buhaton ning task kay nay kuan, nay load si sir. Okay? Na I reward si sir. So later on I'll be presenting that one on the tool I've been using since then. Okay? So but before that, so let's know first the importance of collaboration. So matud pa ni sa website nga Notcash. Okay, so working in teams enables students more effective and quicker in their tasks as compared to others who work on tasks on their own. Okay, so personal pud nako nga kuan experience. So if you are creating a website or a software nga ikaw ra isa, okay, so walay support gikan sa team, ikaw ra gid isa. So maningkamot gid ka. So night time nga layo na ka, so ma-discourage na ka. So mas maayo nga na collaboration gid sa usag-usa. Ano man, kaya ang isa, pwede mo mohatag og suggestion, pwede mo hatag og feedback about sa imong work, and that's the time nga you'll feel empowered na. Okay, so when your teams are collaborating, they are essentially learning new things from each other. Okay, so tinuod na siya. Okay, so atong mga students karon, okay, maulaw na sila og pangutana sa instructor, labi na instructor nga medyo stricto kaayo, sa dito gina siya mangutana sa iyang kuan, sa iyang classmate. So what if iyang classmate dili pod motubag kay dili manghatag og answer? Okay? So walay collaboration nga nahitabuan na. So as much as possible ako nang gina break. So I am grouping them, and they form a team, and they do their task per group. So dili kay ko gapa task og per individual, especially karon sa atong sa atong uh, pandemic. Okay? So how do I do the katong tulo ka points nga akong gi-mention ganina. So comprehensive and consistent communication, fun collaboration, and relevant reward system. Okay? So dali na rin masulod si Trello. So I know most of you here are using Trello. Okay? Sir, Trello dito naman na sa project management. Okay? So actually Trello, you can use that with you can use it with collaborating with your students. Okay, so Trello is a collaboration tool that organizes projects into boards. Okay, so projects or tasks into boards. So Trello tells you what is being worked on, working on what, and where is something process. Okay, so unsa maning Trello? Okay, lisod siguro ring Trello. Okay, actually Trello is a easy as 1 2 3. Ano man, imo lang buhaton is drag and drop. Okay? So unsa may naaning Trello? Okay? Is Trello a free or naaba na siya bayad? Actually, Trello is freemium. So free siya, pero naay mga upgrades nga imong bayaran. So mo nang gitawag na freemium. Okay? So mo ni ang collaboration tool nga akong gigamit. So this is the homepage of Trello. Okay? So you can actually sign up here, and pwede po ninyo ipa-sign up inyong students, and pwede ninyo siya pa-appeal sa inyong Trello account. Okay? So basic lang ang kaning Trello. So nay upat ka components si Trello nga ato lang timan-an. So sayon ra kayo kay upat ra. We have the board, we have the list, natay cards, then natay mga members. Okay? So kana. So actually Trello is a uses the Kanban nga workflow management method. Okay? So Kanban, so nakay ingani ang forma ni Trello. Okay? So natay pinboard ya, then list of here, task here, and ipang move lang na nimong mga cards sa to do, and in progress, testing, and done. Okay? So actually we are using this in DTO as well. Okay? So para effective ang among collaboration, okay, so we are using Trello or the Kanban method. Okay, sir, unsaon lugod paggamit ana karon sa atong students? So how do we apply collaboration sa atong student kung ang imong tool is more on project management? Okay, so remember, Trello is pwede gyapon nato siya magamit sa atong mga students. Okay, so as what I've mentioned before, akong mga students ako na siyang gina-group of 2. Okay, so dili na nako sila gina-group into 3 kung ano man, kay ang isa igo na sa igo na tag finance, tig luto sa pansit canton. So as much possible ako na siyang ginalikayan. So group of 2 ra gina siya. Isa ka front end developer, isa ka back end developer kay naman ko sa IT nga department. Okay, so how do I use Trello in my class? Okay, so step 1, so create a task. Okay, so by the way, this is the template I've been using. Okay, so mo ni karon atong Trello board. Okay, so this is me, the board creator, and I can invite my student as well. Okay, so I have here a list dayon. Kani siya karon is the list, and every list natay set of cards. Okay, or natay mga cards sulod sa atong list. So I put information about this board, say purpose ani nga board, say context ani nga board, and so on. Okay? So danhi karon mutan-aw si students sa mga task nga available nga ilang buhaton. Okay, sir, na may use step kanon di man kamo gamit ato. Actually, gagamit gyapon kog use step. Okay? So dadto ko mag-post sa mga quizzes, sa assignments, then ang katong execution sa ilang assignment, pag-execute na or pag-process na silang assignment, dani nako ginabutang. Ngano man? Kay sa use step, di kinako siya di kinako siya ma-track ang sitawagan ni ang progress ni student. Okay? So dani sa Trello dali ra nako siya makita nga naman kay na may activities or logs makita kang Trello. Okay? So I posted all the tasks here nga ilang buhaton, task 1, task 2, task 3 and butangan po nako og due date. Okay? So pag due date man god, so kung naa ka sa industry, uy due date na. So that's the time nga imo na nabuhaton. Okay? So para pod aware atong mga students, okay? Aware para atong mga students, kani siya dapat unahon buhaton. Okay? Hapit na ang deadline. So aware sila nga unsa ang dapat una buhaton. Okay? So nanay collaboration ana. Then as you can see na ay mga labels here. Okay? So sa akong tip ganina unsay sa tawagan ni kaning maximizing collaborative spirit. So point number 3 here there is a relevant and reward system. Pag makakita na si student ana oy nay green, so meaning na ay reward ana. So that's the time nga pag makomplete na nila or first 10 groups nga maka-complete ana nga task, so na sila reward. So akong reward lang is load kay para magamit pod nila sa ilang next nga online class. Okay? So this is the step 1 sa akong Trello nga process. So I created or I list all the tasks here. Then after ana ila nang ibutang sa ilang board. Every group naa silay na silay Trello board. So that's the time nga dadto sila magtinabanga or dadto sila mag-collaborate, okay? So ilan na i-copy then ilang i-forward sa ilang group, okay? Then dana karon ma-list ang ilang mga tasks, okay? So sa akong mga list here, information natay to do, then student 1 and actually na siya sumpay, student 1, student 2 and so on. Okay? So i-move na lang nilang cart if ever nga trabaho na sila ana nga certain task. Okay? So napo na yung mga labels diya for information nila. So information, post, front end, urgent and back end. Okay? So i-copy na nila sa ilang board. And step number 3 is sila mag-assign or ako'y mag-assign kung kinsay mo trabaho anang task nga ilang copy padulong silang board. Okay? So for example, I have here. So I am here. So example, mo ni akong duha ka students. Okay? So I can assign a student or a student can join a certain card. Okay? So after na nila mabuhat, okay? So makita po nila ang progress dani. Okay? So makita nilang progress dani. Pwede po na sila ka-comment, pwede po na sila ka-attach og documents, and pwede po na sila maka-communicate here sa iyang group or pwede po sila ka-group sa ako. Okay? So, ana ra kasayon ang Trello. So, click and drag dagit ang imong buhaton, then type. So, ang activity here, ang comment here is same sa Facebook. Okay? So, kung makatag ka, pwede po na dani. Kung maka-insert kag image, pwede po na siya dani. Okay? And so on. Okay? So, mura gi siya og Facebook. So, naay collaboration gyapon nga may tabo. So, in that way, so pag mag-comment si student 1 here, so mabasahan po na ni student 2. Okay? So naay collaboration, naay consistent communication ang gakahitabo. And how do I track activities? Okay? So dali na siya pag-track sa activities. Wadto lang ko sa trello.com/ then the username of my student and card. So makita na nako ra karon kung sa iyang ginabuhat. Okay? So kung sa iyang buhaton, nag-due date na ba or nilahos na ba sa due date? So pag mulahos na sa due date, so that's the time nga mo comment og mohatag ko og feedback. Okay? So mohatag sad ko feedback kay appeal man ko sa ilang collaboration. So ana na siya. So sayon ra kay si Trello buhaton. So that is how I use Trello in my class para pag-track sa mga activities sa akong mga students. Okay? So that's the end of my presentation. So thank you so much everyone for listening, and back to you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Mac Wilford, for sharing that kating application that you are using for them to really collaborate with each other. And the questions may be entertained a bit later, no, if everybody's done sharing. So thank you for that, sir. And again, sana all, no? Sana all nga kanang maka-reward og load, no? Pero of course, you can actually have your other form of incentives man pod if ever. It could be in a form of points or grade, no? Depende sa inyong strategy. But also, but of course, kang Sir Mac Wilford, ihapot tong style, no? To really engage the students. So what is really important here is that our students are constantly working in their group or in their bubble. That is para number one, walay ma-idol sa ilaha, no? And it's also good that Sir Mac Wilford also emphasized that there is a limit to the number of people in the group or in the team para walay magkuano walay isa lang nga igor siya katong gingon ni Sir ganina nga itigluto rag pansit canton unsa ba kaha no nga wala kay siya ginabuhat nga minor ra kayang contributions no not really meaningful kayo iyang dili kayo inguna na ka meaningful or dako kayo yung contributions dito sa success sa isa ka project. And I believe that kani pong kaning Trello, I actually had a chance to also use this. No, it's just that I see it very appropriate pag naa sa mga pag naay mga grupo. So it's good that through that they are able to communicate with each other and really keep track of where they are with their project. And I believe kani po siya no bisag unsa nga project, it could be a project of any subject, no, pwede kaayo ni siya sa mga sa atong mga students, no. Okay, so once again, no, collaboration will also allow the students to really enjoy, you know, their academic journey. Kaya makita nila, I'm working with a team, I have this role, and I'm contributing, you know, to the success of the project. So in that sense, they are intrinsically motivated, no, na makuan sila na they should be part of this success. Okay? All right. So if we had that with the establishing of the collaborative spirit, this time we will talk about how are we going to engage our students, no, with asynchronous learning through, of course, our learning management system, okay, with USTP. So our next speaker will talk about engaging students with asynchronous learning and using the features of USTP. Let us welcome Mr. Jim V. Salise from Hasaan.
Okay, so good afternoon everyone. So madunggan ba akong tingog, Sir Arvin?
Yes, Sir Jim, we can hear you.
Okay. So my task for today is to share my experiences of what I did and basically how did I deliver my lessons or how did I conducted my classes in the previous semester using, of course, the e-learning portal, which is the USTP. Of course, using also other platforms as well. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Sure. So my topic for today is engaging students with synchronous learning and using the features of USTP. We all know that during this pandemic, we implemented flexible learning for conducting our classes. Of course, we are free to use any platforms, just like video conferencing tools. Video conferencing tools, just like Zoom, WebEx, and also social media platforms as well, just like Facebook. Personally, I use both the video conferencing tools, and the social media platforms. So in my own experience, Manggod, is that dili tanan gyud students nato nga maka-attend sa atong klase, especially that limited lang yung resources, and most of them usually don't have a stable internet connection, and some of them also don't have the gadget either. So to be honest, it was really hard for me on how will I going to deliver my lessons, especially that this is the first time that we implemented flexible learning. But somehow, I might say that I deliver it smoothly to the students, with of course with good feedback from them, and of course with the help of these following platforms or following softwares that I will be sharing it to you. Okay. Of course, synchronous learning. So here's what I did. So inani lang akong strategy. So first is I've actually recorded my lessons. So not necessarily good nga i-record nimo everything ng imong lessons, but siguro sa ako is kato lang mga important topics which is necessary gud nga imo siyang i-discuss or i-demonstrate sa imong students. It's because naman gyud ubang topics nga mas masabtan sa estudyante kung ikaw gid mismo ang ga-discuss sa ila. Kanang ikaw gid mismo ga-explain kay one thing lang yun nga na-notice po na ako, especially sa programming subjects, that the students were really appreciate if katulad akong giingon nga ikaw gid mismo ang ga-discuss sa ilaha. So mato akong first is actually recorded my lessons. Second is upload it in Facebook or YouTube channel. So after recording my lesson, so akong gina-upload sa akong Facebook and YouTube channel. Nganong duha akong ginakuandan ni ibutang, which is the Facebook group page and YouTube, is because naay mga students nga mas prefer sila aning Facebook. It's because tungod pod siguro sa what do you call this, kanang data nga limited ilang data, I mean. Tapos ang uban is Facebook lang ang ilang pwede ma-open is tungod lagi sa katong gina-register nila nga data. And napoy uban students nga ga-request pod sa ako personally nga, sir, pwede ba ma-upload nimo sa YouTube? It's because ang naiuban studente nga once na ma-upload to na ako sa YouTube akong video lectures, is that ila rin gina-download. So kato ilang gina-download and mao ito ilang balik-balik ko og tan-aw dayon. So sa ako lang giingon na I am teaching a major subjects in information technology. So especially sa programming, there are really certain topics that you really need to demonstrate to them. So ginahanglan nimo i-demo, and somehow kanabitang maka-receive kag feedback sa mga estudyante nga, sir, thank you kayo for providing video lectures, kay mas nasabtan pa kay namo ang topics or ang lessons, kay nagi aminon nato na nagi mga estudyante nga katulad ng giingon ni Sir Welford ganiha nga instead na giving them the PDF file nga grabe kataas, so mas ganahan silang kanabitong makita kanila na ikaw ga-discuss sa imong lessons, sa imong topics ana dito. So third and the final step will be upload URL or the link to your step. Of course, I encourage my students always to open up their respective USTP accounts. So ako silang ginapasabot nga atong main platform for sa atong klase is ang USTP gyud. But of course, nagigapang sila freedom nga nagipuban students nga dito gid mismo sila open sa among group page. So the question is, what tools or what softwares did I use? So this one, So use Bandicam for recording my lesson. So unsa yung mabuhat ani ang software. So the Bandicam will actually record everything in your screen. So for example, while I am talking right now, so if I'm going to run the Bandicam, so everything you opened in your computer screen will be recorded. Full screen na siya ma-record niya. So just like this one, for example, this is the screen of my computer. So you can also add your camera right here. So pwede nimo ma-add dire imong camera. Ana siya. So that makita ko kanila while speaking. Ana. So second is that the OBS Studio. Okay, so some of you might be familiar with this. It's because this software is specifically designed for live streaming. So ginagamit gini usually sa mga live streamers, but kung unsay mabuhat ni Bandicam nga i-record niya everything sa imong computer screen, so ma-kuan gyapon, ma-perform gyapon ni OBS Studio. Ang nice lang is the OBS Studio is free, so you can download it online. So free siya gamiton. So ako lang i-share sa inyo gamay ang kuan unsay graphical user interface ni OBS Studio. And sayon na po siya gamiton, dali ra kay siya i-set up. Okay, so i-stop share sa nako. Screen. Okay, so inani lang iyang graphical user interface, ma'am, sir, sa OBS Studio. So first is imo lang i-add ang display or display capture sa imong whole nga computer screen. So add lang ka diri sa plus button, add, and then display capture. So again, everything in your screen will be recorded by this software. Okay, select OK, and then okay. So next is natay display sa tong screen, means nga if we hit the start record button in here, so tanan nga imong gina-open sa mong PC is ma-record niya. Okay, so next is atong i-add ani is atong audio. So that software is ma-recognize kung unsa man atong gisulti, ma-record pa niya. So ani lang dire, select lang ka and audio input capture ni, and then okay, and then i-select lang dani mo imong microphone. Okay, microphone man imong gamit. Okay, so as you can see, while talking, nanatoy graph diri sa audio nga gidagan siya. So that means that ang software is recognize niya atong audio. So next is optional lang na siya. Pwede ka mag-add katong kuan ganiya, kato imong camera diri. Add lang ka video capture device, and then okay. So for now is dili siya makita diri. It's because currently nagamit mo ko sa kaning Zoom nga application, which is nagamit pod niya ang camera. So basically ang software is ma-detect pod ni nga naay laing software nga nagamit ang camera. So basically kung wala mo nagamit og Zoom is ma-add po ni direct ang camera. So ana lang. So karon is okay na ni atong setup and pwede na nato siya start recording. So once again everything in your screen will be recorded, so start recording. So kung sa man imong gina-open diri sa imong screen will be recorded. Okay? So I think that's all for my topic, sir.
Thank you, Sir Jim Lee, for sharing that insightful na mga tips, no, para sa ato ang mga estudyante, especially on it's also very important that we leave them something, no, para dili sila mawindang, no, especially that we are using a synchronous type of learning. So mo na nga kinahanglan nga napod tay tools, no, to record our lessons, and that so those who cannot really be with us, say for example mag live ta, Okay, we have something to still share, no? Importante kaayo na nga importante kaayo na atong mga estudyante makakita pud sa atuan what we discussed, no? Even if dili siya live, they would still feel that they are part of the discussion, no? Na sila. So thank you for that, no, Sir Jimmy. All right. So we are down to our last topic. Okay. Let me just share my screen. This time, kung kaganina puro lang kuan atong na-discuss, no, para sa atong students, this
Guys,
time it's also for us na dayon. Okay? So to talk about fair play, reclaiming work-life balance and self-care, let us welcome Engineer Jonathan Calibara.
hello, good afternoon. Madunggan mo ko, Sir Arvs.
Yes, sir. I can hear you po.
Thank you. Mag-share sa ako. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to share something about my assigned topic now, which is how to reclaim work-life balance and self-care. So, katong ganina, kang Ma'am Beth, medyo conjud to siya, kinahanglan to communications with our students. So, kang Sir Paklar, kinahanglan jud ta og kanang collaborative effort, no? Di lang kay sa students, pati pod sa ato no, as a faculty. So, uh, kani po kang Sir Salisi, kinahanglan kita nga kanang sahay na magid dili man kita tanan maka-appeal sa ato ang USTP. So guilty pod ko na sahay kay ang students yun mismo ang request kay Sir pwede mag-FB lang. So thank you so much kayo sila ang tanan, no? Today I'm going to share something how I am going to kanang to balance life, no, despite of this pandemic. And sometimes sige latag trabaho nya malimot ta sa to ang self, no, malauntag na ay nagmahal sa to ana sudsad, no. So anyway, to start, okay, is the feeling mutual? So muna mga questions nga always na to i-ask, no, dili lang kay sa to ang mga friends, dili pod pati pod sa to ang kauban sa trabaho. Kay sometimes makaingon ta nga okay pa ba niya kung kauban basing gigahi ani, no? After the first semester nga nahitabo mag-online class ta, maghatag ta og mga works sa students, no? And of course, no, as part of the teaching faculty sa College of Engineering and Architecture and Civil Engineering Department, medyo dako gid kay amo ang kuana among population sa engineering department. So it has been a challenge kung unsaon baka namo paghimo sa amo ang discussion nga galisod na among students sa pagsabot sa face to face ga trending pagali ni nya how much more sa online class. But dili na mag-matter ka, na importante is how you will be able to share something masabtan sa mga bata, at the same time ikaw pod sabton pod nimo imong self. So di gid ta malimot sa atong self. So kaning mga is the feeling mutual, i-ask jud nimo imong kaugalingon sa imong kauban o sa ubang tao. Okay. Number 1, kung single baka dili baka ma-stress or di baka kapuyo. So taas-taas diha, pataas nato mga single diha kung wala baka na burnout, wala bay kapoy sa work kung single ta, no? So kung married ta, no, mas kapoy ba nga minyo na ta karon, dagan kay tagtrabaho, ano. The number 3 is ato responsibilities sa ato ang balay, no, or sa ato ang trabaho. Daghan ba ta responsibilities, no? Designated ba ta or work from home ba ang tanan, yung inana ba? So kami, no, we are designated faculty man. Special shout out sa CSW team and the ESD team, no, na they are working so hard sa pag-maintain sa ato ang school sa pag-fight against COVID. So congratulations sa team ESD. So pag abot ba nato no, gatrabaho ta sa opisina, pag ulit nato sa balay, ikaw pa ba ang maglungag, manghugas og plato? Or magtamonmod pa ba imong misis kay dugay kay kagiuli o suba ka ha? Dagan kay kagitrabaho sa mga inana question for kapoy. The number 5, students, no, always kita ani ano as faculty liid lalim naay times nga magsigig una-una ta nga okay ba ka akong students or okay ba sila ilang connection, matagaan ba ka sila load sa tanan or equal ba ang sharing sa opportunity kay dili biya tanan mostly no kay sa amo ako ang mga students dili tanan adunahan no lagi mga gikan gid sa lisod nga kuan nga pamilya nga maghulat pagali og mabaligya ang mga kupras no ug uban pang mga dapat ibaligya ahi makalod so hulatan gid nato na sila tanan nga makapasa sa ilang submission sa ilang mga requirements. Number 6, ang workplace no mo gini always nato i-question sa atong self no bisan normal na karon or new normal kana bitang safety ba atong place hugaw ba ang palibot or na ba kay virus ang ako ang mga kauban lisod naman kay iani sa office okay I have experience man god nga medyo na apil taan ang mga quarantine no so dili lalim labi na no sa katong nga apil gyud nga nga swab ako mga kaila dili siya lalim nga maapil ana nga mga nga virus no maapil siya sa listing kay ikahatag man na siya tuwa og anxiety. So kana makadugang na siya og kakahapoy sa ato ang mga lawas no. Longer working hours no kung karon na nata karon sa office normal gyud mag-work kita always kita sige trabaho kanos abaka ta mangulian ni gali kay magpasalamat dito sa atong admin no kay gitabangan jud ta sa paghatod og sundo no especially sa naatay available van nga musundo sa morning napud nga mo hatod sa to pag-uli. So daghang kay salamat sa admin ani nga itagaan gid ta og bisan saan mo gyud na kinahanglan mo gyud magpadayon ang ato ang life no as faculty, designated faculty. And ang longer working hours is not only applicable sa office no kung dili pud apply sa balay. Imbis na nasa balay nganong mag-work pagyapon no. Imbis ang apil na ang mga bata, ang atong mga anak o ang ato ang mga asawa, bana, sa pa diha ang masuko, na mga silingan nga saba, no? Sige video key bisang udto pa. So murag daghan kay gubot ang palibot, no? Parilit tanan. Of course, number 8, no? Aning salary, no? Maayo unta kung tanan kuan no daghan og sweldo bahala dirag kapoy basta kay mga 100,000 na atong mga sweldo diha so basin di ay matagaan tag bonus inana ba so makakuan no say kay namo gitay labi na pandemic no makatabang ta sa pulisik ka tawo dako na kay na siya tabang sa uban so the last one is ang COVID-19 may ni highlight sa to ang talk no sa to ang sharing of experiences. Grabe ka dakong impact no ang COVID no dili lang kay sa normal no nga tao kun dili katuyon especially katong mga ato ang mga vulnerable nga mga tao especially katong naay mga other nga mga gipangbati nga COVID pa gyud sa atong mga angkol ug mga auntie diha nga money pa gyud sa school kay magtrabaho then katot na ay mga underlying condition so inana ka kakapoy ang first sem no nga ato ang na-feel. Okay. So with regards to my students, so sometimes nani mo gud ko dili tanan makahatag og makahatag og exam no on time. Bisan pag sige pag-announce 1 week before, 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, naagi na students kay mag-submit, na ay students kay dili maka-quiz, na ay students kay kuan nga mag-explain ana. So sa high ipaagi na tog joke para dili ta maapil og ka high blood. Bata high blood na ta. Akong ibutang usay ako ibutang nga okay kay sa sunod semana kinsa tong nakamiss ako so ako na lang inanaon anang usahon ra bitaw nimo imong kalagot para mausa na hatag What I mean is kalagot is kana butang mag-irita imong self kay because daghan kay nanginahanglan sa imo ang time na kay situate nga kinahanglan gid mo mahatag kay you are a faculty man. So ihatag gid nimo. Ihatag gid nimo ang imong time para maka-share ka kung sa lagi kinahanglan kay ang mga students nanginahanglan gyud og ang ila ang ato ang time for kanang bitang pansinon baka ko ni sir, isin raman ko ni sir, oy mura man walay paki si sir. So usay dili ta masabtan niya kita pa din pasalon. So murag kinahanglan nato na siya sabton nga inana ang ila ang kon. Ipaagalan nimo og joke sa class ang next time magayta tag paagi nga makita tag schedule. And so, also no, makik-involve tag students mag-post ko no. Ana si Ma'am Bakabak nga ang mga iro daw sa silingan sabak kaayo in class ka ang going Insakto na siya, ma'am. Nagay mga iring nga mag-away pagit ang iring tungang gabi. Kana mabuhat kag video. Sakto na, ma'am. And also kani bitong naay mga na times nga maakian gid nato ang Christmas, New Year. So dili ko malimot sa tong students nga I am giving them nga kanang bitong encouragement, motivation nga dili mag-end ang life. Kinahanglan ta mag-continue sa ato ang learning, hinay-hinay lang pero ang pag-quit dili siya mao ang solution. So and I always provide this hashtag nga dasig igsuon or keep safe. So para dili lang para sa faculty at the same time para pud sa mo sa ato ang mga students. Kay dili sila bitang nagiga-motivate sila always bisan tuod 2021 na napagyapon ang COVID-19. Okay? Then the last one is lisod ang sa akong subject aside is most probably is kanang mostly siya mga explanation. So kinahanglan ta ana og daghan checking ana. So akong mga students I always provide kanang kanang bitang i-reward. Eksakto to ingon ni Sir Paklar nga kinahanglan i-reward. Akong i-reward sa students is ako silang ipakita nila i-announce na ako sa ila nga kinahanglan jud nga kanang bisan lisod ang exam naagyapoy hapit na perfect sa exam. So dili lisod ang ato ang klase. So mo gina ako always nga advocate labi na sa mental health no. I-stop yun atong anxiety. Then mood swings. So okay, so for general ni siya no, kung Monday happy bata, nag-heart ba atong mga eyes diya, ang ato ang kuan kay gikan ta sa Sunday nag-church, angel pa ba kay ta? Sa Wednesday ug Tuesday medyo okay pa atong mga mood diha. Or Thursday pakit pa kay ta kay kita ta sa atong crush or sa baka. Nya pagka Friday diha nikalit lang kag kapon naman kaayo kahilak ko na kay ko sa trabaho unsa nang submit ba gyud sige panawag ang dean's office or kinsa pa na nagpa-assign sa ato kung maipit ta ba sa mga requirements. So mga inani ba ato mga na-feel no within one semester no labi na to sa mga designated or sa mga dili designated daghan ba ato ang mga emotions ito. Sakto to ni Ma'am Beth nga daghan kay emotions dili lang students kundi pati pud ang faculty. Okay. So according to Merriam-Webster, no, ang work-life balance, ang balance is the ability to retain one's balance. So kinahanglan i-maintain, no? I-maintain nato ang ato ang work-life. Okay, self-care. Self-care is according to Merriam is a care for oneself, no? Wala may lain mag-care sa ato ang kaugalingon, no? Dili lang kay ang uban tao kundi kita mismo. Dili na kita ka-care sa atong self, ano mag-care man ta sa uban. Dili dai. Kinahanglan mag-care ta sa atong self kay aron makita sa uban na kaya niya nga i-care yourself, how much mo i-care pag niya ang lain tao. Di ba? Inana. It's about kung saan mo pagdala sa imong kaugalingon all throughout despite of this pandemic. So if you try to search for an escape, no, based sa Google, natay gitawag diri nga cycle. Naunin mo self, mag-work ka, the family, friends. Muna siya cycle. Sige ra gid kag trabaho, self, family, friends. Mo ra gid permanente. Sige, kapoy gid kayo. Pero as don't propose stake, no, sa ko in my YouTube channel and my Facebook account. Na ako gikuan nga always ka question, no, sa ko ang take. Nakoy question nga, fresh pa ba ta? So tan-aw na tong self sa selfie. Selfie kita tan-aw na tong self ba nga iasa ka nga dapit nga angle ta ni gwapo o cute. So, ana mo inana para po maminyo tag sayo mga ana. Then ang next nato is kani makamotivate gyud ning open ba ba ang co-op no? Napabaga tayo withdrawon ani or wala. So kinahanglan gyud ta happy kay madto ko sa co-op karon kay at least makapalit ko sa akong gusto paliton. Ana. The last is healthy ba ang heart? So kung happy ka karon sa imong self, so dapat always na nato ipadayon. Dili ta sige og sad kay madala man nato na sa tong students. So kinahanglan nato i-feel nga happy ta permanently. So hilak lang gamay. Gamay ra pod. Okay, so akong gina-apply pod is every day I always see to it nga nani gyud dapat no dili man gyud malikayan na inani nga mga emotions. I always apply nga it should be greater than sa emotions nga which I think is negative kay ang normal nga tao na gyud yung mga emotions. Ang normal nga tao pwede masuko na ikaulit kalagot pero ayaw ipalabi ang kalagot o kapungot ipalabi jud or kuan pa gyud yung mga happy ka makatabang ka sa uban ana last dapat timuan ipa. So for my daily and weekly routine no daghan kay nag-question ani sir nganong mga kuan na lagi kay ta karon sir mga nagniwang na lagi ta karon so of course na daily natay work dayon last I do exercise no natay daily exercise natay sports no mag badminton usahay dari sa mo ang kuan sa to ang school so thank you sa amo ang HR department no shout out kay yalaw nila ang pagkuan no ma-happy ta magkatawaha balag di ka balo mag-sport basta kay makangisi ta gamay daily intake nato diet so of course importante gyud nga magkaon pud ta og mga good food dili na sa kita sa tag prito bulad no kaon pud ta og mga kimchi mga ramen o mga unsa pang mga labi nga pagkaon no dili sad always nga inadto and of course I do not forget to go to church no every Sunday dapat at least na kay church time pray for your students pray for your family of course so your co-workmates i-apply gyud pray in your co-workmates kay na kamura gyud di ba kun ana dibita joke lang. And of course, your family, always mong ginanaan din. Of course, your friends, kinalan kag friends, usay makakuan. So sa mga single, dagan kina sila og lakaw-lakaw. No? Travel, say pwede ka maadto sa bukid, padagat. So ang uso karon is pabukid man, no? Pwede mo maadto Claveria. So shout out sa USTP Claveria. Yeah, sana all bugnaw og kanang palibot. Then, of course, I do social media also. So, say mag-TikTok ta, no? Recently, yesterday, I just posted TikTok. And of course, FB, YouTube, Insta, but dili kayo magbabad sobra sa social media kay maka-stress. Labi na mga balita ang mga negative. Ayaw na kumahimo i-minus na ng mga news. Huwag yung kabalo nga na pa news karon. Okay man ang news feedback, pero sometimes ang negative makadugang sa tang emotions. And cravings, so sometimes no, ang kaning atong food kung sa akong gusto karon, Friday karon, Saturday karon, kinanan ko mukaon og sinabawang isda nga naay luyang daghan na ba din of course ang sleep yun ayaw kalimti you have to sleep no sa gikuan sa doctor nga 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours sometimes pwede ra gyud siguro 5 basta at least sleep yun di palabi og bilar kay bad mood ta na pagtawag mo so of course muna akong formula no always kita mag-work tapos natin mga buhaton aside ana sa work no along the way and it will equal to life no mo gina ang kinabuhi muna akong mga sekreto diha then there are some of the pictures nga kanang ako ang nag-gather sa ako ang first sem no I as a moderator of GPIs I see to it nga kinahanglan ako ma-look into pod ang ako ang mga students kung okay pa ba sila no maka-inspire pa ba gyapon sila students nga makatabang baka sila nga naka-COVID ra ba nya makalihok pa ba sila mga papers no and of course ako mga ka-workmates I am proud of my CSW family nga bisan pag pandemic kaon ra gyud wala gyud then of course badminton picture and Sa ako ang mga paperworks na ako'y pangsulat usahay nga ilawd nimo ang mga kapoy buhaton para dali na lang dayon buhaton. Ana siya ang mga technique. And of course kanang mga picture nga pa effect diya gamay para dili kita para artista kuno hayta ba. Ayan. Then of course saka sa bukid no. Kung kinsa tong gusto mo saka sa bukid, balag galuyan na itong mga hinuktok diha basta ka makahigop din sa sabaw, then coffee. Yan na. And of course, you go for kay dool man mig dagat, so I always kanang maadtugid kog dagat para free akong mind para salom-salom na lang. Of course, sometimes I also drink no mga pawala pod sa ginagmay. Then ang importante ang kaon. Importante gid ang kaon. So kinahanglan kung unsa kinahanglan mo kaon jud kay muna yung makahatag sa to kanang ka-happy. No? Kung ma-happy mo ang soul, ma-happy mo heart, then mag-reflect mo na sa imong kaugalingon, then imo din ang ma-share sa uban. So, na. Then for me, no, self-care is about how to balance life. Kung na-balance na nimo imong life, it's all about self-care. Murag na-handle nimo imong kaugalingon. Then of course, ang effect ana is na kay better relationship sa imong self at the same time sa imong co-workers, no? Mo reflect mo gud sa imong kauban. So kung mo reflect sa imong kauban, ma-happy man pud na sila nga kanang nag-care ka sa imong self. Then of course, natin positive attitude. That's what I have said earlier. Kung medyo kapoy gud ang the whole week, mas ipakuan pa gyud ipasulabi pa gyud ning mga happy ka dapat, dili ka dapat magsigig guol, no? Kay na gyud dalon gyud ta sa depression ana. And of course, no, overall, it will improve your health, no? So, as a matter of fact, no, dili ta pwedeng nata sa balay magsige ra pud tagkaon. Pag abot sa balay, no, you do exercise, kay dili pwedeng ang atong stress is through stress eating. So, niabot magud ko 100 kilos sa before, so stress eating ko ana, so dili siya maayo, no, dili effect labi na karon nga pandemic na sige ra yung kaon wala untag nay kaunon pod na dabig wala, no, waras. So kuan gyud kanang I situate nga mabalance na to atong diet para pod ang atong food so magkaon kag mga daghang utan, mananom ka ana. Okay, so I have this one phrase lang, make your own formula and become a solution, no? Dili siguro kanang lahi man ta og ways how to solve problems, no? Sa engineering perspective or in general thing, daghan kayo problema na sa tuwa kung saan nato pag-adapt. Actually, daghan kayong YouTube suggestions, recommendations. But it's up to us kung saan nato pag-formulate ang tanan para ma-apply sa imo at the same time maka-share pod ka sa uban. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sir Jonathan. No, sa ganahan kami sa imong kuan, sa imong last slide. No, make your own formula and become a solution. No, and it is really amazing how you were able to balance everything. No, despite grabe ka busy. No, and I also would like to take on that katong important concept no nga imong gi-share ka ganina, no, that we have to be conscious with our emotions because our emotions will actually carry the kind of day that we have, no? So, kana siya, kung natay panahon magtrabaho, dapat naputay time mag-chill, magmukbang, unsa makaha, maglaglaag, no? Para ko ano, dili lang pud kaayo ta, dili kayo ta ma-stress no sa ato ang working environment. It has to be there has to be a time for us to detach no sa ato ang kabisi. So salamat kaayo Sir Jonathan for that very light-hearted and very fun nga nga discussion regarding work-life balance. Salamat po. All right, so at this point, let me share again my screen. At this point, we would like to, if you have questions, no, basin pwede ra ta send sa chat box atong mga pangutana if you have questions for our speakers. But while you are still formulating the question, no, allow me to present the certificates for the speakers that we have. Okay, so let me read the citation. University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines awards this certificate of recognition to Ms. Prosibeth Bacarisas for her valuable contribution as resource speaker during the Sharing the Flexible Learning Teaching Experience, an innovative teaching series conducted by the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning for the USTP system faculty members on February 2, 2021 via Zoom Cloud meetings given the second day of February 2021 at the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, CM Recto Avenue, Lapasan, Cagayan de Oro City. Signed, Engineer Eileen Amora Sheras, CITL Head for Innovative Teaching Series, Dr. Amparo Vidua Dinagsao, Director for Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, and Dr. Ambrosio B. Cultura, USTP System President. So let's give a hand to Ms.
Yay! Congrats, Ma'am Beth.
Okay. Next, we have the same citation goes to Mr. Mac Wilford Paclar. Let's give him a hand. Thank you. Then we have Mr. Jim V. Salise as well. Let's give a round of applause to Sir Jim V. And finally, we have Engineer Jonathan Calibara. Thank you so much, speakers, no, for being with us and for sharing your insights. Okay? And we'd also like to hear from you. Please send us your feedback. We'd like to know what you have learned. And for those who have not registered, no, katong kaganina, we encourage you that you register so that you can evaluate. By the way, our certificates are automated and shall be given after you have evaluated our event today. So if naka-register mo, pag registration ninyo, pangayoon man inyong inyong email address. So that's the reason why you need to give us a feedback so that automatic na dayon mahatag sa inyo ang certificate. All right. Now for the closing, let us hear from Engineer Eileen Amora Shera, CITL Program Head for Innovative Teaching Series, and just to give her closing remarks. Ma'am Eileen?
Yes, okay. May hapon sa tanan. Madunggan ba ko?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, we
okay.
can hear you po.
Mayong hapon sa tanan, no? Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you very much to our dear speakers, Ma'am Beth, Sir Paclar, Sir Salisi, and Sir Calibara, and to all our participants today. This event will not be realized without your presence po. Tinuod yun kayo na, ano? This is now the second time we conducted this kind of event. The first time was on October 28 with our 4 speakers, Dr. Ascanio, Professor Kagampang, Sir Kagurin, and Engineer Bahoyo. And overwhelming jud kaayo ang number of participants, kay soaring up jud kayo siya, no, karon. But unfortunately 300 participants sa jud ang kaya sa ato ang Zoom acquired by our CITL director. Ang uban gusto mo kasulod pero dili na daw sila kasulod. So from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate our speakers for accepting our request. Sa walay duwa-duwa gyud, nag-yes yun dayon sila to share their experiences in our not normal condition due to this pandemic. We all experience these challenges, matud pa ni Ma'am Beth. Tanan na usab, we do adjustments sa tagsa-tagsa nato na activities sa ato ang life due to this pandemic. Ilabi na sa ato ang trabaho karon nga murag naahat yun ta or napugusta sa pag-explore of using any online learning tools to connect to our students. We have different struggles and challenges, of course, naman yun na siya, no? Naatay usay malipay ta, nakasuko ta, or usahay kakasapot ta sa ato ang klase. But the good thing is we learn from that experiences naman po. And I am positive also that this authentic sharing of experiences from our speakers may help us to have a new strategy or kaya approach dealing to our students, like what Sir Paclar and Sir Salisi shared to their classes. Or it may also help us on how to attract our students nga mo join jud sila sa klase. nga naay mga collaborations nga mahitabo og mga style diya nga ma-encourage yung students nga mutunga even this kind of pandemic karon. Og basin sa di ay no nga ma-apply sa dinato nga sa ato ang klase ang kani ato ang gi-share sa ato ang mga speakers. And also kaning gi-share sa atong mga speakers may remind us that we are human being di ay. No? In spite of the stress or burden we felt, we should not forget our sacred self. So dili pod nato kalimtan nga mag-happy-happy pod ta, mag-TikTok like what Engineer Calibara did na I work balance, talk to our family, embrace their presence at this time. On behalf of our CITL family, we say thank you, Jud kaayo.
Thank you.
Hopefully that you will continue supporting us in this kind of event, sharing flexible learning teaching experiences. Ug naa pag mo sunod ani ha. And we are still searching ug makipag-chismis pa mi, labaw pa si Ma'am Ampisad, ma'am. Makipag-chismis mi sa mga co-faculty ninyo, sa inyong students, sa inyong chairperson, sa inyong deans. Para basin di I know, one of these days we will invite you to share your unique and authentic experiences to our USTP family. And please, again, support all the coming activities from our CITL office po. Sana hindi po kayo magsawa and God bless everyone. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you,
God
Ma'am
bless.
Eileen. Before we end our session, no, let me just share with you some very important ng mga announcements. So we have upcoming sharing the flexible learning teaching experience next week on February 9. So nanapod tayo ng mga nachismisan na namo, nangakuha na namo nga mga instructors, no, and they will be sharing with us ang ilaha pong mga kaning mga topics, ilaha pong mga unique experiences. We will also be bringing industry experience into flexible learning by creating a SCORM package with virtual content in USTP. So that is with the College of Technology and Hasaan campus. And then we also have automating rubrics for assessment that is on February 15th with CDO and satellite campuses via Zoom cloud meeting. So please, tanaw-tanawa lang ang mo ang Facebook page. We invite you to please like and follow our Facebook page and our YouTube channel as well, no, para sa mga videos and sa among mga announcements. And of course, on February 19 as well with Claveria campus, especially with the College of Arts and Sciences. Okay po? And kani, we would like to welcome our new CITL coordinators. So sa ato mga satellite campuses na natay bag-o nga mga CITL coordinators, we have Mr. Greg Pigaro from Hasaan campus, we have Miss April Dayan Caseros from Oroqueta, and Miss Mary Jane Morelia from Panaon campus. Again, salamat kaayo, and please do not forget to evaluate us so that you can also receive your certificate using this with this link, no, that you see on your screen, and we are actually also sending that in our chat. Okay? In our chat box. Salamat kaayo sa tanan.